You'll remember in the last video how I went through some of the stuff that I'd picked up, or some of the stuff that I'd packed rather, and there was a great comment made in the comments that said it looks very comfortable or something like that, which is a really good comment, and something I remember from my lightweight hiking days as well, that every time you pack something in a bag, you actually add weight to the kit. So the key is to minimize the number of bags you've got, minimize the amount of equipment you've got, and then everything gets a bit more lightweight. So what I'm going to do is start laying my stuff out, and you'll see just where the cooking kit went wrong, and then I'll start working on everything else to start reducing the weight. So the key is to reduce the weight the DR650 has to carry. And I'm going to do that by reducing the number of items, reducing the number of bags, and we'll see if we can get the volume down, which by definition will get the weight down. Here we go, let's see how we get on. In my last video I said I was going to have a look at my cooking equipment. So this is actually all the stuff that I was carrying my cooking kit. I think someone posted it's very comfortable, which I think is a great post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this. On the right hand side of my bike lift I'm going to put the stuff I need, and on the left hand side I'm going to put the stuff I definitely don't need. And so let me work through that, and then I'll show you the outcome. I won't let you go through the laborious part of that, and we'll see everything laid out, and we'll see what it looks like once I've sorted everything out. How about this for all this stuff I had in my bloody bag? There is a lot of stuff in here, so I think I've managed to almost, probably more than half the weight I've managed to get out. So working from the right hand side, this has to go. This is full of sake. The boys will know what that's about, so the sake has to go. That can't go out. The two titanium bottles at the back are water, rice, porridge or oats. That's just a water pot. A titanium kettle, that's just a mug. That's for eating out of. So what I've got at the front here is the canister, but the only reason I'm carrying this is because it's nearly finished. I'll move to these ones probably. These are much easier to get in camping shops, and they just go with this adapter, and that goes onto my MSR, what do you call it, MSR burner. I'm going to keep my wind shield. I think a wind shield's good. I've cut down to matches in my igniter. I reckon that's pretty good. And then for cutlery, I'll keep my titanium knife, fork, spoon. The Primus knife is really good for cutting anything up. I've gone to the thin board, so I don't need a thick board. I might keep these two titanium long spoons. They're fairly handy for cooking. The long fork and the long spoon, so they're good for cooking. I was going to leave the tin opener, but as God made little apples, I'll probably need a tin opener somewhere and regret it. So I'll put the tin opener in. That's just a toothpick, that's nothing. And then at the back there, the kitchen sink is, I had everything in the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink is handy because you can use it to tidy up, you can use it to wash, etc. The red bag is the food bag, so that has to go. I usually put all my food in that. I've chucked out the towel, the tea towel, and I've got one of these little square quick dry towels, so I'll use that. And that's just rubbish bag, so if I've got any rubbish it goes in that, in the beaver tail. So this is the line. My level is the line of no return. So on this side I chucked out a lot of heavy stuff. I'm leaving my lighter, leaving my fire starter, leaving the heavier tea towel. The Maxpedition pouch is really good, but you know, I probably don't need it. That's a heat shield for under the stove. I'm not going to take that. that's a spatula, a big spoon, knife and fork. I don't need 2 knives and forks. Salt and pepper, yeah, great. These are the shot glasses for sake, so I'm probably not going to take them. Sorry boys, take your own mag. This is the thick cutting board. I'm not taking that. I'm going to leave the thick cutting board. That's a stove steady for the canister. I'll leave that because the bigger canister sits down flat. I'll leave the dishwashing cloth, the 2 metal plates, the container I'll probably leave. I don't know, I'm undecided about that, but I'll probably leave. All the heavy pots and pans I'm going to leave. God knows why I was taking tongs. That's just a plastic glass for drinking spirits out of. I'm not going to cook eggs, so I'm going to leave that. And this bag, I probably don't need that bag in reality because I've cut down so much now. So the key is all that stuff there will go into my pannier now. So the food will go in the red bag, and then I'll put the rest, I'll spread the rest around the pannier somehow. I'll have to work out how I'm going to pack away some of this stuff. As I said, I can probably lose the tail bag, which is a big win. And so basically I have half my stuff. I've probably cut the weight more than half. So my cooking stuff, I think that's probably about the minimum you can get away with. I doubt if you could get down much more than that. So I think that's probably the minimum I can get away with my cooking stuff. My sleeping stuff's up the top there. That's actually pretty good. The reactor, I don't need the reactor for Western Australia. It only gets down to about 0 degrees here in the winter if you're really pushing it, and so that takes me down to I think -15 or even further. But my sleeping bag goes down to 0, so the sleeping bag's fine. And so I'll leave my reactor. I do like my sleeping bag liner, my sleeping bag pillow. That's just one of these quick dry towels. That's my tent poles, that's my tent. That's a toilet roll. That's just a clothesline and the tent brush for brushing sand out the tent. And I've already talked about the pee bottle in a previous video. So now I'll just have to work out how I pack this stuff away, and then I'll let you know. So here we have the final product. I found an old, I think it's a coffee and tea bag that I had in the 4-wheel drive by Drifter. It's quite a nice little bag actually. So that one's got all the cooking stuff in it now. So that's done, fixed. I'm keeping those 4 tins, oats, rice, water. That's the food bag to keep the inside of my Moscow Moto clean. And this is my bowl cleaning stuff. As I said, that'll go soon. It's nearly empty. And then I'll start carrying these canisters here. And that all fits in that yellow bag, and that goes in the beaver tail of the Moscow Moto. So that's it. I reckon I've reduced that quite substantially, and I can get rid of that rear tail bag now. So all that stuff there is, I'll call it extra doodads that I don't really need. It was nice to have, but I don't really need it. And so I'll skinny down and see how I get on with this. So that's the utensils skinnied down. My sleeping stuff is good, and the other thing is the electrical. I will check my electrical and see if I can skinny down. I think I've got some duplication there, and so that will reduce my volume quite substantially, and the weight as well. Thanks for watching.